Hi, happy 2018. So, new year, new energy. I thought I'd sit down and do a reading for us today. I know it's been a while and I missed you guys. So, before I begin, I want to say thank you for being so patient with me. I had a major transition happen in my world after my father passed away last March. So, thank you so much for allowing me some time. And I'm not sure if this is going to be like riding a bike, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I was actually speaking to a friend earlier and he suggested I do one of those video things that I used to do. So I thought I might. So this is going to be a general reading for us all. Always listen to your own inner guidance. When you hear a reading, it could clarify the past, it could bring light into the future, or it could be right in sync with the now. See which bells, whistles, signs, and symbols ring true through you. So I have a brand new deck. This is the Sagittarius Tarot. It was a gift, and I really like this deck. It's gorgeous. I also have my trusty old Art of Life Tarot and the daily guidance from your angels, oracle cards, and maybe if it works out, the winged enchantment at the end. But it's been a while since I've done a reading, so let's begin and see how it flows. Let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. All right, let's begin. We're going to start with the new deck. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, our higher self, angels, and energies of love have for the highest and greatest good of all. Let's get some clarity on the energy coming through for the new year. Now remember, energy is always flowing into something different. So let's see where it's flowing to right now for us. Whenever you happen to be watching this video is cool. Don't go so much on the exact date, although technically it is January 1st, 2018. So let's start with one card and get the base energy coming through for us now. All right, one card to help us out for the highest, greatest good of all. Oh, we have the Eight of Cups. So when I see this card, I see it as the little kid or the kid going off to college. You have to leave your old room behind, most of the stuff that you grew up with, and just take what you need with you. Here, this person is cutting off their hair. So, starting with something fresh, getting rid of the old, like, you know, trimming your nails, cutting your hair, that old growth, letting something go so something new and fresh can come through. Sometimes when we go through something, you know, some people cut their hair or do a different style or have something new to have a new energy coming through. So maybe some of you are thinking of getting your hair cut. It's simple, you know, something like that, or it's that doing something simple like getting a trim or getting your nails done, doing something a bit different, getting a new outfit, something like that can bring new energy into your world. Just changing the color you generally wear to a different color can bring a new energy in your day. So, but I think this is a bigger transition with the Eight of Cups. It's letting something go emotionally, having that emotional release so that you can allow new things to come through into your world. So it is like packing what you need, taking that with you and leaving the baggage behind, you know? So if you had to go away, what are the necessities that you would bring? What do you really need and what can you leave behind and you don't really need any longer? What is a crutch? This is you releasing your crutch. I don't know why I like crutch made me think of clutch, which made me think of like learning to drive a stick shift. So maybe some of you are trying something new, driving a stick shift, or getting an automatic. That's coming through, so I'm going to put it out there. So Eight of Cups, it could be a new journey coming through. changing your path, getting where you normally go a different way, something like that. But I feel like this is a big release here. Letting go of the baggage, letting go of something that was weighing you down, and allowing something new to come in, a new emotional experience to come in. You know, maybe there's something that you've always done, and it's time to release that so you can have something new that feels better when you do it. Let's continue. Let's get more energy, or more clarity on the Eight of Cups, and go to the Art of Life Tarot, and let's pull another card. Let's get clarity on the Eight of Cups, releasing the past, releasing what was holding you down, weighing you down, and just, maybe it's just beginning in a different place, beginning something new. Maybe it's just the start. I definitely had times over since March that I sat down and tried to start doing my videos again, and I couldn't get past the start. So sometimes it's allowing yourself the space to have a transition, to do, to get used to something. You know, like when you first cut your hair, the first day or two after it's cut, it feels light. It feels different, like you're missing something. But then you eventually get used to it and it starts to feel natural. So maybe it's a transition time, or it's that waiting till it feels natural again to get started with something. And sometimes it's just jumping on in the cold water and making it happen. So let's get another card. Clarity on the Eight of Cups for moving into 2018. Oh, well, that's cool. We have the Magician. So the Magician comes through when you have all of the tools in your environment that you actually need to get something to happen, to work, to get going. You are, specifically in this card, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul, is the quote, and that's William Henry. But it's you taking control of your situation with what you can do in your situation to make it move forward. Sometimes this is trial and error. You know, you can try a bunch of times until you get it right, until it works. But it's understanding how to put all of the elements of what you have around you together to make something work until it flows right. It's taking control of that situation. Sometimes the Magician can come through as like the trickster, because you don't know how they made it work. You don't know how they got it to flow, how they got something to happen, but it's putting yourself in the driver's seat so that you know how it works. This is Opus 217, Against the Enamel of a Background, Rhythmic with Beats and Angles, Tones and Tints. Portrait of Felix Fenelon, 1890, by Paul Sinak, 1890. Museum of Modern Art, New York, USA. When I was speaking to my friend earlier about how to begin, he suggested I do one of those video things, and I told him that I didn't know how to begin. And he told me that when he has had a lag on, he's a painter, so when he has a lag on creating something new, he begins again by doing something small. Just to get the flow, to get the energy moving again, to get the juices a-moving. So maybe it's starting with something small. Maybe not a huge project, a huge goal, but just one thing today, you know, this week. One little goal that gets you to the next place. You know, making that one phone call that brings you ultimately where you want to be, or that one conversation that you have that brings the right energy in, shows you the path to the right tool so that you can get something happening. Maybe it's collecting your tools. Like I see paint now. So your paint brushes, whatever your medium is. Could be music. It could be, I'm getting like a musician. I'm getting painting. I'm getting even like a hairdresser. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's just getting a new pair of scissors, getting a new wrench for working on your car. Maybe it's getting that tool that you need, that you've been procrastinating on, and that gives you a good start to do something new. Maybe it's taking a class so that you feel a little more confident in that thing you want to accomplish. I feel like it starts with a starting point, and once you begin, you get more answers, you get more flow. It makes more sense. So let's try to make more sense out of this and beginning. It's also beginning something new with the Magician. So it's a number 1, major arcana, and taking control of your situation and making it happen. Let's get another card and get some more clarity on the Magician and the 8 of Cups. Get another card and get more clarity on the Magician, the 8 of Cups, for moving on into 2018. Learning to find your flow once again. So sometimes we forget how it flowed before, and it's just starting, and sometimes forgetting is good. You know, sometimes we get into a flow that just became repetitive, and sometimes you need to go away and do something different to come back and to find a fresh outlook on something, a fresh feeling again when you do something, so that it feels like a fresh start with the Magician, like you're taking control a different way. I feel like it's something different here that you're doing, or something new. If it's something that you've always done, you're finding a different way to go about doing it, so it doesn't feel like you're going to the same thing over and over and over. Like, even if it's the same job, you feel like, I don't know, maybe making a fresh start, a fresh outfit, a fresh outlook on going back to your job feels new now because you did something different. It's making that difference within yourself first. You can't always change your outer environment until you decide to change it coming from your inner environment. You know, it's taking those ideas that spark inside of you and acting upon them that makes changes in your world. If you have ideas and inspirations that come to you and you don't actually take action upon them, you know, cut something away, do something about it, make a change, then the change isn't going to happen. It takes you to make that change happen. So I hope that made sense. All right, let's continue. I'm a little nervous, guys. I'm a little bit nervous, even though I feel comfortable with you guys. But it's been a while, so sometimes it's just working through those nerves and beginning again and giving it a go, giving it your best shot. So let's get another card from the daily guidance from your angels, oracle cards, and see what comes through to clarify the 8 of Cups. A new emotional situation, letting old baggage go, and having a brand new start with the Magician, where you take control on the magic that comes into your world. This could also be paying attention to synchronicity, paying attention to when you have something, a conversation you had, a thought inside your mind, a feeling inside your gut that shows itself in your actual world. So when you're thinking something and it occurs in your world and you start to see that thing on a license plate, in a conversation you're having and someone else was having as you walked by, and you were just thinking about that thing, pay attention to that. When things manifest before your eyes, the more you pay attention to it, the more it happens. So maybe law of attraction a little bit, but letting go of those thoughts that are holding you down, of the things that you don't want to have in your world, and have consciousness that if you're thinking about something you don't want, try to not give it so much energy and forgive yourself. It's okay, and it makes you aware of what you do want. So if you're thinking about things you don't want in your world, try to have an awareness that that's not what you want in your world, and change that thought around to what you would want in your world, and then redirect your attention there so that you start to see things in your world that are bringing you towards the path of what you want to do and what you want to have around you, instead of focusing on the things that you didn't want. I hope that made sense. All right, let's get another card for us for 2018 and see what comes through after the Magician. Opportunity to forgive. So maybe it's about forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for anything you went through, for anything that happened around you, for something somebody else did to you, to somebody else. We're here to learn, you know, and evolve and to change and to grow and to forgive. You know, sometimes it's hard to forget, but it starts small, you know. Opportunity to forgive. The situation brings you the opportunity to heal, grow, and release negative patterns. So maybe that is that negative, you know, thinking so much about the things that you don't want or didn't work in your world, and start to change those thoughts around. You have to change those thoughts, you know, so they're things you think about that you want in your world. It doesn't have to be the whole plan all at once, the big goal all at once, but you can start with one thing that you want, one thing you were meaning to do that you haven't yet, and you can make a phone call. One person that you keep thinking about for some reason, and if there's like a nudge to just call them up or heal a situation, or let bygones be bygones. You know, maybe it's not the other person making that first move. Maybe it's you, you know, making that call first. So hold the intention of seeing the other person's inner divine light and goodness. We will help you release unforgiving thoughts, feelings, and energies, and lift you to a higher place of peace and compassion. So sometimes it's always action reaction, and sometimes we might do something and it cause a reaction in our world that we don't understand, because we're not always in that other person's shoes or the situation, or to see it in a different perspective. So perhaps perspective is going to be coming around soon in your particular situation, or somebody will be understanding you a little bit better. Sometimes it's just opening up that door. Sometimes somebody will shut that door on us because they didn't understand what was happening, you know, behind closed doors. So maybe there is a door opening up, a chance to forgive. I think this starts with forgiving yourself, you know, in a situation, and starting there. Sometimes we may not be forgiven by the other person or the other situation, but there's an opportunity somewhere in your world to be easy on yourself first, and then see where it leads you. And perhaps later you'll be in a situation with somebody else that will be similar, that you can help them through because you see a perspective differently because of what you went through when you weren't forgiven. Time as well. Sometimes people just need their own time to go through something, to come through and give a little knock and open that door and come back around. Sometimes a door is shut for good, and that's okay as well. You know, sometimes we sign up for something, or we have a situation, a relationship, something like that in our world that is there to help us grow. You know, it's a blessing either way, whether it stays or whether it goes. So peace and compassion for yourself, for the situation, maybe allowing some space, and maybe if you feel that little nudge inside of you to like cut something away, you know, release something that wasn't working, that was weighing you down, maybe do what you need to do to release that heavy energy and do something for you, you know. And maybe there's going to be something coming through that door that allows a forgiving energy in your world, that brings a release into your world. You know, maybe something actually coming through is going to bring, I want to say like a light energy. I see Sometimes, here we go. So I see like a knock at the door, and I see there a little tornado coming through into your like home, into your office, into your world. And I don't know, sometimes when I think of a tornado, I think of something that makes a lot of mess. Like, it kind of makes me think of my sister when she comes home. Sometimes she throws her shoes over there and her bag over there, and it's like a tornado came through. But then when she wants to clean, she's also like a little tornado coming through, and before you know it, she can go through a house and clean it up like that. You're like, how did you do that? So maybe something made a mess and things were thrown around, but sometimes you need to dump everything out of your drawers, you know, to see what you have so that it can be organized and put away correctly, you know, or you can donate things and make some space for something new, or sometimes it's just clearing space. So I'm seeing that tornado come through. So that could be a little harsh in the beginning, but I feel like maybe when some clutter is thrown about, it makes you see what you have so you can clean it properly and not just shove it in the closet or put it under the bed. So that space is cleared, and that could be emotional space as well. So I hope that made sense. I still see that little tornado, almost like a cartoon, coming on through. So let's pull one more card. I'm going to finish with the Winged Enchantment. I really like this deck of cards. It's really been a while since I've done a reading, so thank you for being patient with me. I wasn't even sure if I could like speak how the flow would happen. It's been that long, so it's good to begin somewhere, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. So let's get one more card and get clarity on the Eight of Cups, the Magician, and opportunity to forgive. So one more card to help us out for around January 1st, 2018, but it could be a year later, 10 years later, doesn't matter much. Sometimes we find things right when we should. So let's bring consciousness to the situation we're in right now and see where we should flow from here. All right, one more card from the Winged Enchantment. And I have the booklet, so we'll read from that to summarize. I think that's our card. And what's that one? The turkey. That's cool. 36, the turkey, so that's a 9. A 9 is a completion number. It's the last whole number before you begin again with the 1 and the 0. So it's completing something, coming full circle. The 9 makes me think of the Hermit, like a Virgo energy. 36, the turkey. Also, I want to say this was maybe perhaps almost the national bird of the USA before they went with the eagle. I think another one in the running was the turkey. Also, I want to say one of the first big spiritual signs that came into my world when, I don't know, things got, like when spiritual enlightenment in my world became magnified. One of the first strange things that happened to me was I was driving my car in the woods, I'll make this quick, and a fawn, a baby deer, went in front of the road, and I slowed down, and behind the deer was a turkey. Almost like the turkey was pushing the little baby deer across the road so the deer didn't get hit. It was pretty strange. I actually have that on a dash cam somewhere. So, I don't know. It's a big, powerful bird, the turkey, even though it kind of makes me think of Thanksgiving a bit. All right, 36. Let's go to the book and see what it says for turkey. Number 36, I am turkey, the giveaway bird. I am gratitude. I am nourishment. I am the sacrifice of the soul. I am the martyrdom and the reason we hold fast to our beliefs. I am plenitude and harvest. I am the path of service and humility. I relinquish the ego. I renounce the self. I am the benefit of the greater good. Aw, Vinny's here, by the way. He's making his commentary from across the room. And Mannix is here as well. So, hi, Vinny. He misses you too. So, let's continue. You are being asked to serve a purpose. So, you're being guided to put something else first. Without empathy, we do not evolve. I am the life of charity. I am the bounty that can be shared with others. Look around to see who needs you. Your own needs may have to wait for a while. I am the spirit of living honorably. There is a quiet dignity in servitude. You are a vessel for the greater good. You are compassion. You are the giver of yourself. You are Turkey. So, opportunity to forgive. The magician is the master of making it work in your world, making it happen. And this is releasing something that's no longer doing any good for you. It's holding you down, starting with something fresh. So maybe the beginning of something that you need to do now starts with how you can help somebody else. Forgiving yourself for what you couldn't do and focusing on what you can. And sometimes the greatest gifts are what we do for others. It's not doing something to get something back. It's just to give it because you can and because you want to. And eventually it brings, it does bring a wave of energy back into your world, but perhaps not how you thought. You know, it could come back into your world a completely different way through a different medium. So, you know, if you're an artist and you can draw, perhaps you need to draw a painting or paint something and then give it to somebody who maybe is inspired by you but can't paint themselves. Maybe it's I'm getting painting now. Maybe it's throwing a painting party like my sister does, and people that have never tried something have the opportunity to give it a go and see that they're actually pretty good. You know, getting a few friends together that might not be musicians and you are, and giving somebody the tambourine and the opportunity to give it a go, to, you know, put some rhythm in the world. How can you help? What can you do that you have to offer that perhaps can help somebody in a way that they didn't even know they wanted or could use? You know, I hope that made sense. I feel like I'm stumbling on my words a little bit at the end here, but in the end, I hope it was helpful for you. I hope something I said today made sense and is helpful to you where you are right now and what you need to do about a situation you are perhaps stuck with. I'm getting just lending a helping hand with something. It could just be holding the door for somebody, making that phone call, that person that you're thinking about and finding out that you called just when they needed you. You know, cooking them some macaroni and cheese or something that, you know, I'm getting like cooking. Maybe you can cook something for somebody that can't. See what you can do, what you're good at, and where opportunity allows you to give. I hope that was helpful for you guys. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. Blessings, and I'll see you soon.